My name is Will Judy, and I'm founder of Secular Houston, advocating for church-state separation in Houston and in Texas, also known as pushing back on the scourge that is Christian nationalism. Progress Texas is amazing because of the consistent, concise, and super relevant commentary that they provide on the Texas progressive scene. I really am proud to be a monthly recurring donor. Please join me.
Thank you, Will. It's Monday, January 12th, 2026, and this is the Progress Texas Daily Dispatch, rapid response on the breaking news stories Texas progressives need to know. I'm Chris Mosier. Protests spurred by last week's killing of Renee Nicole Good by an ICE agent continued to escalate across the country and across Texas over this weekend. Massive demonstrations in Minneapolis, Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., Kansas City, New York, Philadelphia, and other major cities numbering in the thousands. Texas cities were no exception, and one protest in Austin saw significant law enforcement involvement on Saturday night. Andrew Weber at KUT says at least 5 people were arrested on Saturday night during protests outside the J.J. Pickle Federal Building, and that pepper balls were deployed to disperse the demonstrators by a combined force of Texas Department of Public Safety troopers and Austin Police Department officers. The memory hole, as we know, will swallow just about anything, and the November midterm election is 295 days away. But the killing of a young mother of 3 by a masked federal shock trooper is unlikely to be helpful to the Republicans who continue to equivocate about it. Forbes says a YouGov poll that was conducted on the same day as the Renee Good killing, thus probably not reflecting its full weight, showed 40% of people responding that they strongly disapprove and another 12% saying they somewhat disapprove of the actions of ICE. The agency's approval far underwater, with 24% strongly approving and 15% somewhat approving. 51% say the federal agency's officers are being too forceful. Donald Trump's other recent gambit to keep us from talking about the Epstein files, the move on Venezuela, is looking like a dud as well for the dear leader. Trump met with oil executives, some of them based in Texas and Washington, D.C., on Friday to pressure them to dump $100 billion investment dollars into Venezuela's decaying infrastructure, all without offering military or financial guarantees. As you might imagine, the big oil fat cats are skeptical about that. Both ExxonMobil CEO Darren Woods and ConocoPhillips CEO Ryan Lance, both headquartered in Houston, emphasized to the increasingly frustrated president that Venezuela is currently uninvestable due to past asset seizures and the need for major legal restructuring. Paul Krugman, in his weekend email, noted that Trump's own embassy in Caracas, the day after this meeting, issued a top-level security warning to American travelers to leave Venezuela immediately due to, quote, reports of groups of armed militias known as collectivos setting up roadblocks and searching vehicles for evidence of U.S. citizenship or support for the United States, and that the risks to Americans include wrongful detention, torture in detention, terrorism, kidnapping, arbitrary enforcement of local laws, crime, civil unrest, and poor health infrastructure. Sounds like a great place to make multi-billion-dollar investments, unquote. The first official list of private schools approved to benefit from Texas tax dollars via our new voucher scam has arrived. Isaac Yu and Elizabeth Sander at the Houston Chronicle say there are about 450 of them. They represent about 1/3 of the total number of eligible and accredited private schools in Texas, and that a great many of them are Christian institutions located in our biggest cities. Notably, only one of the Texas private schools ranked in the top 20 has signed up to accept vouchers. That's the Village School in Houston, leading one to wonder if this investment of public tax dollars is even going to go to private schools that are doing the important work of educating kids anywhere near as well as our public schools do. Meanwhile, same weekend, Susan H. Greenberg at Inside Higher Ed says the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board has launched its Office of the Ombudsman website as of Friday. It features a portal for the fielding of public complaints against state colleges. It's mandated by Senate Bill 30, Senate Bill 37, and the office oversees compliance with the state's DEI ban and new regulations granting governing boards control over curriculum, hiring, and faculty governance at our state universities. This new snitch line arrives amidst an ongoing series of high-profile incidents at public institutions in Texas where faculty have had to alter course content or have even themselves been removed for allegedly violating the state's new DEI ban. Under Chancellor Brandon Creighton, the former state senator who dreamed up SB 37, the Texas Tech University system has begun enforcing new standards regarding the teaching of race and sexuality, including that faculty may acknowledge the existence of only 2 genders, male and female, We'll all recall the instructor at Texas A&M who was removed after a video showing a student confronting her over a gender identity lesson went viral. The shockwave thereafter resulting in the departure of A&M's president Mark Welsh. And just last week, a philosophy professor at Texas A&M was told to remove from his syllabus passages by Plato related to patriarchy, masculinity, and gender identity. Clearly, our Republican heroes in the ledge know much better than one of the all-time great philosophers, a student of Socrates, the teacher of Aristotle, and the founder of the Athenian Academy. We have to remember all of this stuff as we continue the long haul to November. However, in the meanwhile, and of course, the election itself is under attack in Texas. Sarah Grunow at Houston Public Media says Governor Greg Abbott last Thursday issued a threat to strip Harris County of its election operations following reports of voter registrations linked to private P.O. boxes. The governor suggesting the state should take control and consider legal charges against officials in Texas's largest and most diverse city. Interim Harris County Attorney Jonathan Fombon calls the threat political theater, asserting that Governor Abbott lacks the authority to seize local elections. And Harris County Tax Assessor Collector Annette Ramirez confirms that her office has already resolved the discrepancies the governor's hung up on here. Even Abbott's own state officials have acknowledged these corrective efforts and noted that the number of flagged addresses was far too small to have any impact on recent election outcomes. None of this is surprising, of course, as Governor Abbott has had it in for Harris County and Houston for years. As we've told you, he's announced efforts financed by millions from his own campaign chest to turn the Lone Star State's biggest Democratic stronghold, quote, dark red, unquote. And he's not likely to forego any method at his disposal to do so. Houston voters should be watching all of this very closely. Something to catch tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m., Tuesday, January 13th, a statewide online meet and greet session hosted by the funky East Dallas Democrats, better known as the Feds. It's going to be featuring a bunch of statewide Democratic candidates, including both Senate candidates, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett and State Rep James Tallarico. See the link in the show notes to get signed up. Early voting in the March primary starts on February 17th. See the show notes for a Texas 2026 March primary ballot form from the Texas Tribune that you can use right now with your home address to see who's running in the primary in which you choose to vote. Super handy and something you should be looking at already. Of course, everything you need to know about voting in Texas can be found at govotetexas.org. Our mission at Progress Texas is to improve and save Texans' lives by acting on our shared, bold, progressive values. And that starts with countering the billionaire and corporate-funded disinformation machine. While we enjoy the support of hundreds of partners, chances are that you, dear listener, haven't joined the team yet. If you're a regular, let's get you on board right now. Huge thanks to Kimberly Gerlich, Stu Campbell, and Kimberly Sari. We appreciate all of you very much. Join them and the team at ProgressTexas.org. Progress Texas is expanding our top-rated podcast network to include Spanish-speaking media to increase the reach of our progressive messages across Texas daily. See the link in the show notes to make your tax-deductible donation towards Spanish media today. That's the Progress Texas Daily Dispatch for this Monday, January 12, 2026. Links to all these original stories can be found in our show notes. Progress Texas is an independent, nonprofit, rapid response media organization. While campaigns come and go, we're the permanent home for progressive media and action in the Lone Star State. I'm Chris Mosier. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great day and a great week. We'll catch you again tomorrow morning.